I'm Sori.
That's Lavi.
Salty and Chip.
Bartzabel.
And Lamp.
Behemoth. For all those new to the channel, we're actually card-carrying Christians.
We are. Unapologetically.
Unapologetically.
We are Christians.
Believe the Bible, believe Jesus died, rose from the dead, all that good jazz. And we are listening to Behemoth because Nergal, while we disagree with a lot of the shit that he says, does have important things to say. And so because of that, we take interest in him.
And we find him a fascinating individual as well.
Yeah, he's fascinating.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, let's do it. Bartzabel. Let's go. Any day now.
I just thought you were going to talk for...
Shout out to Brian X Edge, who supplied the lyrics. Without you, buddy, we wouldn't be able to do this video. Much love to you, my guy.
Yeah.
Are we ready? Is it playing?
It's coming.
How come I can't hear it? Oh.
Oh.
It's like the United Nations of all the gods.
Yeah.
Bartzabel was it's a Kabbalistic intertestamental god. He was like a storm god.
Bartzabel was?
Yeah.
Oh, a storm god.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there was, there's thrones, principalities, and powers.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he was a principality, and then there was a power above him named Raphael.
Okay.
Which he's so the suffix El in Hebrew language stands for God, Elohim.
Uh-huh.
Right? So
yep.
Michael means who is like God, or there's none like God. That El at the end of your name is the name that, it's related somehow to God. So in a lot of the intertestamental literature, the literature between the Old and New Testament, you have all these names of angels.
Like what about Elijah?
Elijah would be Eliyahu, and it's El, and then it's a combination of the name El and then Yahu, which would be Yahweh. So it would be Yahweh is El, Yahweh is God.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
So when you see the L at the end of the word or at the beginning of the word, it's speaking specifically of it's God. Mm-hmm. And so in the intertestamental literature, all the angels, a lot of them do, except for Shem Yaza, which is interesting. But Shem Yaza has Yah in it. Mm-hmm. Shem Yaza is the really, really bad guy that decided that they were going to go down there and, cohabit with the ladies.
Yep.
So Bartzabel is one of these, and he's a bad guy in the intertestamental but in the Kabbalic literature, he's a god he's a storm god, very powerful, all that good jazz. So I'm not particularly certain.
Baal or Baal, or wasn't he the same thing? Like he was a storm god?
Yeah, so Baal.
Is this guy more powerful?
I was actually surprised that he didn't call on Baal in the song, because Baal was the Canaanite, storm god and all the rest of it. So he's calling on everybody. I don't. Some of these I recognize, some of these I don't. Like for example, Ra Horkuit. Ra would be the Egyptian, and right here where it says Kem.
Yeah.
The old original name for Egypt wasn't Egypt, it was Kemet. Oh. So you have like Kemetic philosophers and things like that. Yeah. That's the old original word for Egypt. Mm-hmm. So I don't Hur and Kem, I'm assuming, have something to do with Egyptian gods. Mm-hmm. By gods of war, Ares and Mars obviously were gods of war, and then you have mighty Thor. Yeah. You seem to like that part when he said mighty Thor.
Yes, it was really good. I liked the desperation sound in his, like the desperate vocals in there. I mean, he really nailed it on that.
Nergal does the best death vocals.
And oh yeah, definitely. I don't think I really like death vocals, but I love his.
Well, yeah. Well, you can kind of figure out what he's saying, especially if you didn't have the. Well, like Cannibal Corpse, it's just. I feel like you actually have to have talent to sing like Nergal.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know how he does it and he does good live too. Yeah. So he's calling on all these gods of war. Hakiman and Mentu, I don't know who they are. Graphael, I'm vaguely familiar with. Bartzabel.
So he's calling on all these gods to let this demon come to him.
Yeah, he's saying by. Well, it's
wrong with this man.
Well, it's like you swear by the sun or you swear by the moon, which is interesting because there's Surat al-Najm in the Quran. It starts off by saying Wal Najm. Okay. Which means by the star. Okay. So Allah starts off the chapter by swearing by the star. Okay. So here he says by the moon and the stars. Mm-hmm. In the song. So he's like he's focusing on Bartzabel, but he's grouping Bartzabel when he says by this one, by that one, he's grouping him in with all these other divine beings, basically. And what's interesting, he says, my favorite part was by Elohim, by Samael, by Seraphim. Samael was not a good guy either in the intertestamental literature. Okay. He's one of the bad guys. It was actually, Samael was, I'm pretty sure, was Shem Yaza's, buddy when they decided when they made that covenant on Mount Hermon that they were going to go and do whatever with the ladies. Samael was right there with them. Which Samael is a beautiful name. I'm amazed that he didn't bring up Azazel either. because Azazel was in there too. So Shemyaza is not named in this song, and neither is Samael, but by Elohim, by Samael, by Seraphim, and then the way that he said it, this was probably the most melodic Behemoth.
Oh man, I really liked it.
Behemoth song that I've ever heard.
I think it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Like the concept, like I don't want no demon. But like sonically, it was very like it just sucked me in, and I could just kind of listen to it over and over.
Nergal is interesting though because Elohim. Okay, so in the Semitic language, the term Elohim doesn't necessarily have to mean the God of the Bible.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? So even in the Old Testament, there are beings called Elohim that are not the God of the Bible. There's Psalm 89 where it says that the Elohim fear God or something like that. And then in Psalm 82 where it says God takes his place in the divine council. In the midst of the Elohim, he holds judgment.
Right.
So Yahweh is in the midst of other Elohim in Psalm 82. So it doesn't necessarily, when he says by Elohim, it could easily be by all the powerful ones, by all, because the mighty, some translation translate Elohim as mighty ones, as these divine, powerful beings. But when you consider in the previous song, in the God equals dog song, he says, Elohim, I forgive thee not. Living God, I forgive thee not. Jesus Christ, I forgive thee not. So if you're going with the way that he used Elohim in the other song,
context
that would be the God of the Bible.
Yeah.
But I'm referring back to the God equals dog song. And then Seraphim is also interesting because Seraphim are the basically throne guardians of Yahweh's throne.
But it's weird that there was like that other thing thrown in the middle.
Well, I'm assuming Ra is the Egyptian sun god that he's mentioning. And then Samael is the bad guy in the intertestamental literature. So it's like you've got this sort of like sandwich almost. Or a chiastic structure where you've got two bad gods, and then you've got two
helpers,
good guys in the Bible.
Well, because it looks like you've got a god and a god, like the Egyptian sun god, and then our god, and then you have Samael.
Right, Samael is an angel,
which was the helper of that guy, right? Because he wasn't the original thinker. And the Seraphim also are the helper.
Yeah, it's the helper of Shemyaza. Shemyaza is the guy that gets blamed for a lot of that shit. But Shemyaza is also a badass name. What's your name? Shemyaza.
Yeah, oh, I know. Get the fuck out of the way. Yeah. What's a purple flame? Any idea about that?
I don't know. I just think it's like, when a flame gets white hot, I guess purple's deeper than white. You know what I mean? Okay. And I guess, a whirling wheel of life, I guess he's crediting Bartzabel with that. It's very interesting to me that he's focusing on Bartzabel when he recognizes that Bartzabel wasn't really a top level.
See, I didn't get that.
Operator.
Whirling wheel of life. I just assumed that was like the, I don't want to say teleporter, but where he would come from, move.
No, he's calling.
Rise. Come unto me, I thought he was like kind of speaking. I thought that was like the means by which Bartzabel would get to
I'm
him.
assuming that he is calling Bartzabel the flaming wheel of life.
Okay.
He's calling him the purple flame.
Oh, okay.
By the laws divine, I quell. It's typical Nergal. Like he's saying, I'm aligning myself with you because I go against divine law, and so did you.
What does quell mean?
To quell, to extinguish.
Oh.
So he's extinguishing divine. He's basically saying, come to me because I'm like you.
I'm like,
come to me by the raging blood cell. Like I've got the same anger toward God as you.
Yeah.
And then by the spear, the sword, the spell. Because he's setting it up to be about war, because he keeps calling on these gods of war and jihad. So he's basically at war with God by the word that openeth hell. What's interesting is when you start seeing the video, the guy, it's weird. The guy, the priest or the monk or whatever that guy is in the black, and he's dancing and all this, like in the circle, and it's kind of beautiful almost. He looks kind of
in the circle, in the room by himself.
Yeah. He was like dancing in a circle almost.
And it was pretty. I was so distracted by his hat that I didn't really see the dance.
La.
Okay, go ahead.
So he has, he's dancing and it's kind of beautiful, and then but at the end all those women are butchered.
Yeah. The girls were dead?
Yeah, at the end they were all butchered.
I saw that one.
They were all connected, and one of them was hanging upside down and all.
I thought that one was upside down. There was one upside down, and then there was like blood dripping all over the other ones, but I didn't know that they were all dead.
Yeah, I could be misinterpreting it. Either way, it just ends up very ugly.
Well, yeah.
And what's interesting to me is that it's like...
What was that symbol thing?
Yeah, he did something here.
But the girls were doing that here, like something like that too, and then he was doing the same symbol.
Yeah, it's probably... I have no idea. Nergal is obviously well versed in occultism. I'm assuming that the triangle is probably a symbol of the female anatomy.
That's what I was wondering when it said a whirling wheel of life, if there was like a connection with where, because
so you generally have a phallic symbol, which is like the male essence, and so I'm assuming that this is the female counterpart to that. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe he was like helping you at the beginning, because in the beginning, the first time you see the triangle is with the woman when she's doing it.
Yeah.
So there's that association with that and her, right? So it's probably that. Because it is true, like, because the Star of David is like, you have the two triangles, as for the male and the female essence, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The Star of David is not...
No, I know it's not what I always thought it was.
Yeah, but it's basically the one triangle is penetrating the other. I'm pretty sure
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I better find my Star of David again.
It's also pagan and very anti-God. Okay.
What do you mean it's anti-God?
Well, it's designed to be against God.
How can that be against God?
What do you mean?
How can the Star of David be against God? What is against God? It was
originally a pagan symbol, just like a Christmas tree. A Christmas tree is obviously pagan.
What about female male anatomy is
female male
God.
Is not against God, but those paganism generally handles sexuality in a way that's contrary to what the Bible says we should handle it, right?
Oh. You're so cute. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I think that's what that was.
So,
but that's a wild guess.
Are you saying that it's bad?
What's bad?
How the fuck did the Jews land with it then? What the hell, man?
I'm not saying the symbols only put into it what you put into it.
Okay, so I can wear my Star of David and mean something else.
You can wear your Star of David if you want. I'm not even sure I'm right. I'm pretty sure I'm right. But I think from like the clues that he gave us in the video, it's kind of like Kabbalism for dummies.
If you were wrong, almost. You'd look like some sick motherfucker. If there was like nothing anything true.
I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm not wrong.
Remember hearing that it was different than, like, I just thought that it was, I thought like way back, like it was like literally David, the King David. I literally thought like that was like his symbol. Like maybe he had that.
There's not even any literature in your Old Testament.
Yeah, I understand that, but I just thought that it did. I just assumed that's why we called it the Star of David. And then I remember having a discussion with you. I was like, Vin, another thing? It seemed like every conversation I was having with you, you were destroying my worldview.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm melting.
Yeah, the 6-pointed star. Yeah, so anyway.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna read this later.
Yeah. So.
David Shield.
I don't know. It could be.
Yeah, okay.
That's anyway.
Interesting.
But yeah, this was a beautiful, beautiful song, man. God Almighty.
Oh my gosh.
By Elohim.
It was my favorite.
You know what's interesting is seraphim. So a seraph, the Hebrew root for the word, can also mean snake or serpent.
Yeah.
And so, like when the Israelites were getting stung in the wilderness because they were complaining and God sent serpents to sting them, it was back and forth between Nakash and seraph. Mm-hmm. They were used interchangeably in the Old Testament, which is very significant.
Yeah.
So the term seraph, you have you get these angels in Isaiah chapter 6 that are they're not even called angels. They're very, very special divine beings who guard the throne of Yahweh.
Right.
And you can see this in Egyptian iconography, where you have, you know, the throne, and then you have serpents guarding Pharaoh's throne. And during the time of Isaiah, there was a lot of trade going on with Egypt. So Isaiah looks up and he sees this amazing giant picture of these seraphim. And but the term seraph, again, is interchangeable with the term Nachash, which means serpent.
Yep.
Well, what's interesting is, who goes after Adam and Eve in the garden? A serpent, a Nachash. It could, and so there's a lot of scholars, and I am in agreement with this, that it wasn't a talking, but these
people picture
these
like the reptile that you see.
These seraphim, these seraphim are basically winged serpents.
Much more complex than what you see at the local pet store.
Well, yeah, these are in the Old Testament iconography. They're basically giant winged serpents who are at the throne of God and who are very just. It's like literally translated. Seraphim means the burning ones, or he burns, because they burn out of love for God, basically. And so you have these amazing seraphim who are burning for God, right? And one of them rebels against God.
That's why they're called the burning ones?
Yeah. So one of them rebels against God, and that's who's talking to what's her face in the garden, is one of these seraphim, and one of these, you know, Nachashim, I guess you'd say. And so Nakash, if you look at it as a verb, a noun, and adjective, it basically means shining one, or serpent, or diviner, or deceiver. So Michael Heiser, who's a very big scholar that I respect, believes that it was one of these burning ones that deceived Eve. It wasn't some regular garden snake. It was It was one of these, you know, amazing, you know, seraphim here. So I'm not sure. Nergal is extremely educated, but I don't know if even he has that background, because it's pretty groundbreaking stuff. And so somebody asked me, like, do you believe a talking snake talked to Eve? And I said, well, yes and no. Because they're serpentine, but they're not, it wasn't a regular garden snake. And that explains also why Eve was just so willing to have a conversation. Because there was a lot of interplay between them in the garden. Okay, so, but anyway, I thought that was interesting by seraphim, because the traditional understanding of seraphim is that they are the holiest, apart from God, they're the holiest beings in the existence of the universe. They're extremely holy, and that's...
How can there be...
Because
how can there be the holiest if they're all perfect?
What do you mean? Because their degree... Remember, holiness is about separateness. How separate from creation and closer to God you are.
I always feel like it's about perfection. But
yeah. There's like there are no other class of being like them.
That's right. I remember now.
And they're the closest to the throne. Some of them fly above his throne, which is also very interesting.
Yeah.
So,
don't they have like 6 sets of wings?
Yeah, they have 6 wings.
I mean, well, 3 sets, but
yeah, they have 6 wings, and then I mean they're amazing, terrifying beings, because they're fiery and they're serpentine and they're loud. Just unbelievable creatures. So
I always like the way that King James puts that one, because they say twain instead of 2.
Right.
With twain, do they cover their face? With twain, they fly. You know, like the way that I would read that passage over and over.
It's ironic, because if the devil was a seraph, then like you were the closest to God.
I know, that's crazy.
And you were the most beautiful.
And you were burning.
You were beautiful and you were amazing. Yeah.
I wonder, like, if that burning changed from, because you know how jealousy has a way of burning,
right?
Like, I wonder if that he once burned for God, like, rightly and in a holy way, and then it turned to jealousy, and then he wanted to take that spot and stuff. So he still burned, but and now he burns in probably lots of ways. Anger, love, you know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah.
It's too bad.
So when it talks about the serpent like being, you know, you'll crawl on your belly, people say, oh, you used to have feet, but it's more of like clipping his wings type of thing. So you no longer...
That's worse.
Right. Right.
That's worse.
Yeah.
And if that's true, then it's also the humiliation aspect. Like,
well, yeah.
He's not probably literally crawling on his belly, but it's as though he is because he had 6 wings.
Right, right. And that's why I think God kind of like...
It's like Maleficent. Remember that part
yeah.
when she lost her wings? Like,
yeah.
That was like a pretty devastating part, I thought.
Well, yeah.
You know?
And that's the idea.
Yeah. And
I also think that that's why God kind of leaves the impression that it was just some regular garden snake to kind of go, you're nothing now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you look
the entire world thinks of him as just some...
Yeah, just a pet, a cartoon almost.
Right.
Because God's not going to go, he was this big, amazing seraphim. Yeah. Like, you can put that together in the Old Testament. People
worship Satan enough as it is.
Right.
And, idolatry.
If they would know, they idolize him, yeah.
Yes, idolatize is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They idolize him enough where probably if they knew, what he was really like, it would engender more...
Right.
But...
Well, it's also very interesting that, if you were to go to the throne of God right now, you'd see 2 giant snakes.
Yeah. That is...
A lot of Christians like, what the fuck is that?
I'm in the wrong place!
Yeah.
I was wrong!
Well, it's interesting because when the people get stung in the wilderness, he sets up a snake.
I know. That always surprised me.
He says, look at this snake. If you look at the snake, you'll be healed. So figure that out. By gods of war, Ares and Mars and mighty Thor. Why did you like that so much?
Please, let me tell you what somebody said to me one time, because I asked about that, and they said, on the side of the ambulance, how there's a snake on it?
Yeah.
They said, it's like that. It means like medical stuff. And I remember sitting there and being like, the fuck? That doesn't answer my question, because the ambulance didn't come before Exodus.
Right.
But it was you couldn't push and ask too many questions. I already asked one question and they gave me a stupid answer, and you couldn't really question too much, and so, well.
Sure.
Anyway, I think
which Jesus compares himself to in John chapter 3, by the way.
Yes, he does.
Really intriguing stuff if you read the Bible. The Bible is not boring at all. You're boring!
Or dumb. No. That's how I feel, though, when you, study stuff and you, say, what it is to me. I'm like, whoa, that sounds so cool when you say it. And then, some stuff is cool when I read it. But, a lot of stuff, I'm like, ah. And then when you explain, I'm like, fuck, how come I couldn't get that out of there? Anyway, I just like that part. I like the way that he said it. And mighty Thor, and
then he put his hands up?
Yeah, and honestly, I know, I'm wrecking his whole thing. But, I feel like all of those those gods, they encompass and say something about the true God. So the strength of whatever, or the
Ares and Mars being a god of war.
Yeah, you know what I mean. All of those say something. So for me, I was switching it.
Yeah.
And it was really all about Jesus, which I know that's not the point, and I know that's not what I'm supposed to do, but I am a Christian.
I rewrite songs all the time. Instead of Bartzabel, I said Son of El.
Oh, man.
Oh, did you like that?
Yes.
Come on to me, son of El. Well, it's interesting because these are all gods of war, but the scripture says that Yahweh is a man of war. In Exodus.
Yahweh, I know.
After they,
I kept switching it to Jesus Christ.
After he fucked up Pharaoh and all, he fucked up Pharaoh and all that shit. Moses is like, Yahweh's a man of war.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't fuck with him.
Nope.
He'll tear you up.
Yeah.
And we're eventually going to do some sort of community discussion on this, but I do believe that Thor and Ares and all those guys exist at some level in reality.
Yep.
And I'll try to explain. I'll try to explain why I believe that.
I was at the library today, and I wanted to get one of those. Again, one of those books for the kids where it's like an allegory. I just couldn't. We got one, but I just.
Which one was it?
It's another one of those, the Christian ones, but it's the same author who did the last one about the timekeeper. So Dorian was really excited about this, and he's like, "Mom, I think this one will be good." So I got that one, but I'm like, honest to goodness, I just wanted one on these, on Thor, and I want to read the stories of all the different ones, but I'm like, should I really, the time that we're having in the morning, it's about God, and then I don't know if I should just make the whole thing about demons. But anyway,
I'm just very interested into why he invoked Elohim and Seraphim here. This is very, very interesting to me.
Well, not. Maybe he just thinks that all of them are beneath his Bartzabel.
No, he doesn't believe. How could he?
What do you mean?
Ra or Ray couldn't be below Bartzabel. Ray is like the
no, because he's
worshipped.
saying all of those people all of those other gods need to make sure that this guy comes. Oh yeah, I don't know.
Second verse, by the power of the panther spell, by the circling citadel, by this mind of miracles. So I'm assuming that all of that stuff is in some Kabbalistic literature somewhere. The panther spell, I have no idea. You know what I thought about was Black Panther? I'm like, he talked about Thor, now he's talking about Black Panther. I doubt very highly that's what it is. I bet you anything though, like once we start doing some research, that there's some fucking real pagan shit in Black Panther that we missed.
Oh, I'm sure.
Guarantee.
I'm sure.
I guarantee.
This is going to sound like a really dumb thing, but I don't really know geography very good. Is Egypt? Where's Egypt? Is it in Africa?
It's in Africa.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think that word, that Egyptian thing, sounds African, but...
Rahur Kuit?
Yeah, that sounds... It sounds like...
I'm probably... That's...
Doesn't the last one, Kuit,
I'm
or whatever,
assuming that
looks
that's
like
Egyptian.
I know, but it sounds like, when I'm looking at it, it looks like... And you know what it else reminds me of? You know those three Mormons that you watch sometimes?
Yeah.
It's like the black guy that's on there.
Kwaku?
Yeah.
So, shout out to the big homie. So you got Hur here and then Hur here, but instead of Kuwait, he says Kem.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that this one has got to be Egypt. Gods of War. That's probably the Egyptian version of the God of War. Ares and Mars are gods of war.
Lots of gods of war.
Hachiman and Mentu and all.
Yeah, so who does he want to go to war against?
He wants to go to war against Yahweh, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but why would he get who's Elohim in his mind?
Right, who's Elohim and why are you swearing by the seraphim? Why are you asking for, why are you invoking the seraphim?
I don't know, but you're saying you don't know. Maybe
I
he
doubt
thinks
very highly he has the background of connecting the serpent in the garden to a seraphim in Isaiah 6.
No way he's as smart as you.
Well, no, it's not as smart as me. You just have to triangulate a lot of shit. And it's relatively new scholarship.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd say Heiser's relatively... I mean, people came out before Heiser and said it, but he kind of...
He's the one that really made it popular.
Yeah, so...
His voice was heard.
You'd have to triangulate a lot of shit. And Nergal seems to be more about the intertestamental Kabbalistic stuff than Old Testament studies, like, directly. So, that's why I'm like, to me, Nergal... He named the song "I Loved You" at the record "I Loved You at Your Darkest." There seems to be. I know that God loves Nergal. I feel like Nergal does love God, but he has a hard time separating the experiences he's had with God's representatives from God Himself, because he's extremely aware.
Maybe he's had bad experiences with God too. Like if somebody he loved died or something like that and he feels like it's God's fault, it doesn't necessarily have to be just the representatives. It could be God representing him as his own self.
I agree with that to a degree.
And then I heard that he got some leukemia or something like that, and Christians were basically cheering about it or something like that.
Oh yeah, when he had leukemia.
Come on, people.
Yeah,
that is not Christians should not be doing that.
I just saw something on Facebook. Some Christian did some really fucked up shit.
That was a Christian?
Yeah, that's why I went after that guy like that.
What the hell,
Fuck you,
man? Wow. Okay.
So it's of course, because these people really believe that's,
Jeez,
why do you think I went after him like that?
Oh, it was pretty.
He just has one of those faces that you just want to. Anyway.
Then I take it too far.
I just feel like people need to be more responsible with their social media.
Oh, I agree.
You're running around telling people you're a Christian, and then you go and completely misrepresent him and we're not the perfect
obviously we've sworn a bunch of times.
I don't care about that dumb shit. I'm talking about real shit that's alienates people and hurts people unnecessarily. I don't have a problem with hurting people. I have a problem with hurting people unnecessarily. So I had a conversation with the big homie. Shout out to the big homie Peter. And, we had a conversation. I wish I could... what's the fucking? There was some German phrase that he taught me that I really liked. It's like the tone makes the music or something like that.
Oh, really?
Hold on, what is it? Go ahead, talk.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you save it in your notes?
Der Ton macht die Musik.
The tone sets the music. Is that what you said?
So he was helping me out in my communication skill. So it's like I get it, like, you know, all of us fall short or whatever, but like when you go out of your way to be a fucking jerk and then you know, when you get called on it and you justify your evil ass bullshit, of course these people are gonna hate God. Aside from the natural human propensity to hate God anyway. I have to get off of my chest. Oh my goodness. Now it's good that I have you around. You're like, man.
Who's Graphael? And by master,
Graphael is he's the power. So you had thrones, principalities, and you had powers. I'm pretty sure Bartzabel was a principality and Graphael was a power. Who's above him.
I see.
Because the angels have ranks and hierarchy, and you know they're not anarchists. Shout out to BM fan. They're not anarchists. They're very, very orderly. So I'll have to. I'm very interested to look more into what Bartzabel did to why he would attach him. He'd make an entire song to Bartzabel, which is probably his best song. This is the best song I've ever heard from.
Oh, me too.
From Behemoth.
Oh, me too. I really like this one.
It was really, really good. Very different from.
I don't get bored with the sound of his music.
What was the Siberia? That's the last one we did.
Yeah.
But this one is a special song.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
This one's a special song. The God equals dog thing was he does things that are different, like having the kids on there, and
this is my favorite though.
And this one with the chorus. This one was really, really good. All right, what do you give the song?
A 10. I really liked it. It was an easy 10 for me too. I would have said make it longer. Scream out that chorus again. Say Thor again.
This mind of miracles. That's a very interesting line.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
I think this whole second verse we need a lot of more Kabbalistic background to figure out what he's saying.
Yeah.
It's a 9.8, and the reason it's not a 10 is I wish it was a little bit longer.
I know. Yeah.
Because it was really, 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 really good. Really good. He used...
Was it 5 minutes or was it 6 minutes?
I don't know if I didn't even think it was 6 minutes. I thought it was like 5 at the most. He's really... It was 5 minutes and 20 seconds. He's really good at melody. Oh. And I don't know if this is a new... This is like new ground for them or what, but he's really into melody. So
you know what I always want to know? I always want to know if he's the one that directs what the visuals are going to be.
He has to.
Is he the one that decides that?
There's always like a consistent theme.
Yeah.
Like he's like the Black Pope.
Yep.
You know, he's always and of course there's the upside down crosses and stuff like that. I don't understand how that's supposed to be offensive as a Christian. Like, are you offended when you see an upside down cross?
I used to be feel uncomfortable because I thought it definitely meant demonic. But now I see what you're saying about it. I'm like, well, yeah, that's true. I mean, people were crucified upside down.
Peter voluntarily wanted to be crucified upside down.
Yeah.
So why would that offend me as a Christian?
I see what you're saying.
I don't understand that. What's interesting to me though is that there also seems to be a notion that the devil's a destroyer. Or Satan's... Because in all of Behemoth's videos, somebody ends up getting mauled or killed or something like that.
Yeah. I didn't understand the girls, though. The first one, she was, under this, sheet type thing that was see-through.
Yeah, she was in a hijab. One of them wasn't a hijab. It was a niqab. The niqab is different than the hijab. The hijab is just like a scarf. The niqab is like a full body thing.
Yeah, but it was an upside-down cross that was here.
As the video progressed, she went out of the niqab, and then it was the upside down cross, and then one of them basically got butchered, and then her blood was, and then they made
I didn't understand what that was supposed to mean. Why that face covering, but then her entire body was naked. What was that supposed to even mean?
Yeah, I'm assuming this is about the suppression of women in religion. The similar imagery was in the God Equals Dog video, where the women were being weighed in the scales, and I was saying that this is you know, religion's fear of female sexual power or essence or whatever. But at the end, they get butchered.
Yeah.
So
in the end, they were used.
That seems to be a theme with these latest batch of videos. Is that women are. I think there's a fear of female sexual power in religion. I think that's true. I just don't know how that related to the actual song or where he was going in the song.
Yeah.
The imagery was there and it was very stark, but I would have assumed there'd be like more, you know, violent war imagery versus, you know, attacking women. But
yeah.
I mean, considering our current cultural context,
yeah.
Who are the people attacking women right now? Religious people.
Right.
It's a fucking religious right.
So.
And this, like, I gotta even the whole Kavanaugh thing. Like, aside from whether you believe him or not, the right wing, the religious right wing, is not handling this the way that we should at all in the public sphere.
Right.
Like, so now, like, you know, like this guy that I had to deal with, like, he's using like whatever in somebody's background to say, oh, women are whatever, so that we could defend Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Like, I think right wing religiosity and Christianity doesn't know how to handle female sexuality.
Yeah,
at all.
I would agree with that.
At all. And so I think it's an important point to make.
So who's summoning the war gods?
Well, Nergal's.
Yes, I know, but how does Nergal relate to those women?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe maybe he's looking at himself as he's fighting on their behalf. Like,
so he's calling this war god to fight for them? Yeah,
he's calling up war on behalf because religious people are like they're either putting them in a burqa or completely objectifying and destroying them. And so Nergal is like, fuck this, I'm gonna go to war against this system. And if that's the case, then he's right. He needs to do that. I just think that, you know, Jesus' power would be better against that system than the devil. Okay?
Yep.
And in the end, everybody gets butchered.
Yeah.
Like in all, like in the 3 of the last 4 Nergal videos we've seen, people have been getting butchered.
Yeah, I know.
Like, to me, there seems to be like a subconscious sort of like...
But isn't it always women getting butchered?
Well, the last one was Wolves of Siberia. It was like Little Red Riding Hood, basically. She got mauled by the wolf.
That would be a girl.
And then, I don't know, God Equals Dog, the girls, I mean, they were being weighed in the scale, but they didn't get completely butchered, I don't think. But then there's Blow Your Trumpets Gabriel.
Yeah.
Where the girl, she started off as an angel, whatever, or a regular woman, then she gets transformed into this demon. But I think that woman was a representation of a lot of European countries that got corrupted by Christianity. Yeah. But I do think, though, that, you know, all the destructiveness that happens, I think religion definitely, you know, has destructive influences, and we've said it over and over again. Evangelical Christianity right now is fucking toxic.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's toxic.
Yeah.
The way that we are, and I'm not with this whole we're responsible for Trump thing. I don't believe that evangelical Christians are responsible for Trump. We played a very big role in it. Now, obviously, you and I didn't vote for Trump. We played a very big role in it. But I just think that the way that we're engaging in the public conversation when these terrible issues come up, instead of displaying the attitude of Christ,
I know. It's so weird.
We're doing a lot of fucking damage, and I think that there's certain forms of Christianity that do need to die.
Yeah.
You know, and so, like, you got a guy like Nergal who's like going to jihad against.
But it's not true Christianity. It's.
Well, no.
You know.
No, it's not true Christianity. But at the end of the day, like, they're still our people.
Yeah.
So I'm never gonna say, oh, those are those people, and I'm a real Christian. It's like, that's what I'm saying. We.
Right.
Like, we are fucking up big time here, and so there should be a Nergal within the Christian camps going out and doing war against that bullshit. But since none of us will, then to me, it's like God's like, okay, well, take this guy.
Right.
He'll do it.
Yep, he'll do it.
Because the rest of you motherfuckers are too busy trying to get political power and disrespect and dishonor people so that you can advance your agenda. But anyway, that's a separate thing. I'm just trying to reconcile the lyrics, which are about war, with the visuals of the video. 9.8 for me.
10.
Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone. Nurgle, we need that interview, buddy.
Yeah. Where you at?
Where you at? Are you afraid of me? Don't be afraid of me.
Don't be scared. You can bring a friend.
You can bring a friend.